Whew. All right. Just gotta stretch the old Thomas and Friends home media reviews reviewing muscles here. It's been a while. I might be a little rusty. Ooh. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Thomas and Friends home media reviews. A sentence I didn't think I'd say for quite a long time. And it's been kind of a long time since we've been back here. This review is on the very best of Thomas and Friends, our first ever foreign release covered here on Home Media Reviews. This is a historic moment. Not only are we covering a UK DVD here on Thomas and Friends Home Media Reviews, but it's my first time ever seeing a Thomas release from outside of my home country, the United States. This release, as well as all the others that we're going to be covering in this revival season of Home Media Reviews, was provided by Thomas Fan 261, or Sean, a fellow fan and friend of mine who offered to send these to me for absolutely free just to donate them to a fellow home media collector. So Thomas Fan 261, I've said this multiple times in the past, but I will never stop thanking you for this care package that you sent me. This was amazing. So with all that being said, guys, let's move right into the history of the very best of Thomas and Friends. So the very best of Thomas and Friends is fairly similar to a lot of the best ofs here in the United States, and it has a similar history to many releases here in the United States. This came out on VHS in 2002 in the United Kingdom. It has a similar poster art to its DVD counterpart, which this did not hit that format until a year later in 2003. As you see on your screen, the poster arts are pretty much exactly the same. A year after that, in June of 2004, Australia then got the very best of Thomas and Friends. I'm going to be featuring these releases in any country that they were released in, as long as they're listed here on the wiki, which is where I'm getting my history for these releases. So, June of 2004, Australia got this on VHS and also DVD. Australia, I believe, is also Region 2, I think? I don't really know. No, Australia is actually Region 4, excuse me. Region 4, in case you're wondering, is Australia, New Zealand, the Pacific Islands, Central America, Mexico, South America, and the Caribbean. The more you know. But that does not wrap up our history section, because we have one more release to look at here. In March of 2009, the very best of Thomas and Friends was available in a 2-pack DVD set with a release titled The Fogman and Other Stories. I don't know anything about The Fogman. I think it might be Salty Secret, just repackaged. Let me just take a look at this here. Yes, I'm doing on-site research. It's got a number of similar stories on it that Salty Secret does. There's like 2 stories here that aren't on Salty Secret here in the United States, but it's fairly similar. But that does wrap up our history section on the very best of Thomas and Friends. This was not reprinted a lot over in the United Kingdom. I assume it was pretty popular, though. Now that we've wrapped up the history section, let's move right along to the close-up. Alrighty, everyone. Here's your close-up look at the very best of Thomas and Friends. Start off here at the top. You got a little banner there that says the very best of Thomas and Friends. This little circle here from the first 5 television series. Okay, the best episodes of the classic series right there. Awesome. Although season 6 is pretty good too. You got Thomas there. I think that's from Thomas Percy and the Dragon, because the little workman there, he's kind of just like, hey, oh, throw your hands in the air, whatever. I don't know what that was, but he's having the time of his life. I'm pretty sure that's from Thomas Percy and the Dragon, when Thomas sees the dragon for the first time. It's a very eye-catching cover. I'm not really sure why you would use that for a release called The Very Best of Thomas and Friends. I feel like you would use this for like a scary release or something. On the bottom, we've got screenshots. That one's from Toby and the Flood. That one's from Charles Thomas. Shoot. I think that's James in the Trouble with Trees. Put Upon Percy? No, he's at Knapford. He's at like the harbor or something. I don't remember what that one's from. Crap. Well, 3 out of 4 ain't bad. DVD logo. 16 favorite episodes of the famous Tank Engine Thomas. I said favorite because that's how you spell it in England. Favorite. And then, I forgot to tell you, there's your little UK rating symbol there with the little triangle. Rated U for Universal. I like this poster. It's fairly nice. The side, product number, DVD logo, picture of Thomas. The Very Best of Thomas and Friends. Hit logo, your rating once again, and a VCI logo, which I assume is the company that released this. The back, Very Best of Thomas and Friends again. Got your blurb, which kind of has to form its way around the Thomas and Friends logo, which I think is funny. You got your list of episodes here on the side. Classic episodes in here. Pretty good selection. The side, more screenshots. Reused one from the front. There's one from Double Teething Troubles. One of the Scarloey episodes, Home at Last, maybe, I think. Gordon, Better View for Gordon? Oh, I almost said Gordon the Gremlin. No, that's Better View for Gordon. Pretty sure. I don't watch Thomas constantly, guys, so stuff fades from my memory. Some cast and crew information, copyright stuff, tech specs, another rating down there, Universal, suitable for all, hit logo, VCI logo, all that good stuff. We open this up. Here is your disc. Squished up version of the poster art. Still even got the workman with his hands in the air, just woo, having the time of his frickin' life, man. Before we move on, the UK, guys, you guys have got really good, sturdy cases for your releases. Over here in the United States, we've pretty much cheaped out on our plastic cases for our home media. You guys, you got some good, sturdy stuff over there. That feels really nice in the hands. So I'm not sure if we're gonna have a menu tour or not. I think I finagled a way to do it. It's kind of rudimentary, but we just might. We might, but if not, then we're going to go back and answer the 5 main questions as always. So, kind of up in the air whether or not we're going to have one or not. So, whatever comes next, I'll see you there. Alright, so you're back from the close-up. Now it's time to answer the 5 main questions as always. Number 1. Where can you pick this product up? It's going to be a bit hard for me to answer this because of the fact that I didn't purchase this myself. I think you can find these on eBay, more than likely, here in the United States. Obviously, if you live in the United Kingdom or in another country that has Region 2 DVDs like this one, I don't know if you could find this in stores necessarily. I don't think you could. It's been a long time since a lot of these were reprinted, so I don't actually think you could find these on stores even in the home country that this originated from. So I'm going to say online retailers, specifically eBay or Amazon for this. Number 2, is this product still being printed nowadays? This I can say is a hard no. Absolutely not. This has not been reprinted since 2009, according to the wiki. Number 3, should you pick this product up? This one's also going to be interesting since the main reason that I made the choice not to cover these, especially this one on HMR, when I first received them, was the fact that I didn't have a way to watch them. I don't have a Region 2 DVD player. Now, I'm sure a lot of you are saying, well, no, man, your Blu-ray player can play Region 2 stuff, and your Xbox can play Region 2 stuff. False. You are false if you think that. My Blu-ray player, which I used to have in my room, it's not a bonus room, my LG Blu-ray player can only play Region 1 DVDs, because the DVD format is region-locked. Blu-rays, on the other hand, those are not region-locked. They can play in any player whatsoever. Same thing with my Xbox. My Xbox can only play Region 1 DVDs, because DVDs, once again, are region-locked. I don't know how many times I have to explain this to people, but there's always going to be somebody in the comments who says, No, your Blu-ray player and your Xbox can play Region 2 DVDs, you idiot. Why don't you come over to my house and watch me put this in my Xbox and my Blu-ray player, and I'll laugh in your face when it doesn't work. Nevertheless, I found a way to watch these. If you know anything about DVD ripping, you'll know how I got to watch these. I recently picked up a external Blu-ray drive for my PC in order to rip Blu-rays and then put them onto a hard drive so I can have them in a digital format so I can take them wherever I want to go. On a whim, one day, I said, hey, I wonder if these will actually work in a external Blu-ray drive. So I popped them in, loaded up my program, MakeMKV is what I use. It read the discs, and it showed titles and everything for them. And I was like, holy crap, is this actually going to work, or am I going to get a weird error message when I try to rip these? So I ripped them, play them back. They are the fully untouched files that are on this disc. It read it perfectly, and it plays back perfectly here in the United States. After a rip, of course, I can't play it off the actual disc because the disc is region locked, but the files themselves that I ripped off of the disc, they work fine. So I was able to watch the very best of Thomas and Friends from a rip. You may have noticed, too, that there wasn't a menu tour for this. Again, another reason for that is because I don't have a player that will work. Kind of. I have an old Windows XP machine that I got from my grandfather when he moved out of his house. He gave it to me because he didn't have any use for it. I popped this in to that drive, wondering if it would work. Technically, it does work. However, the menu is extremely wonky. Whenever I click on something to select the story stops or anything like that, sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't, and there's no sound. So I made the decision to axe menu tours for this revival season because I don't want them to be in crappy quality, just shot off of a 4x3 monitor, and I don't want to have to cut the thing to crap because I have to keep cutting out long pauses of me trying to get the damn mouse to work. The no sound thing is actually a plus for me because you guys know I mute the sound for the menu so I don't get copyright claimed, but it would have been nice to have sound, I guess. Now, there won't be menu tours for this revival season, but I can still review the content that's on the discs. And the very best of Thomas and Friends, this is actually a really good release. I was expecting garbage going into this, actually, because when I see very best of Thomas and Friends, that gives me flashbacks to the greatest stories. And what's that other one? Engine Friends, I think it's called, where that was just a random grab bag of stories that made absolutely no sense and weren't the greatest stories or the best episodes from the perspective of fans. However, once I looked at the story stops on the back, you actually do have some classics on here. You've got Thomas and Gordon, of course, Cranky Bugs, Rusty and the Boulder, Paints, Pots, and Queens, Thomas and the Special Letter. I mean, you've got some pretty good episodes on this release. And unlike with, I can't remember which releases that this episode was on. I know it was on Thomas's Halloween Adventures, but the episode Dirty Work, or it was retitled here in the US as Diesel's Devious Deed. I know that episode by itself was packaged on several releases, Thomas's Halloween Adventures being one of them, as I mentioned earlier, which didn't make a lot of sense to me because that's the middle episode of an arc. Why would you put that on a release just by itself? Made no sense to me. Here, it's on this, but the first episode in the arc is actually on this release as well. Pop Goes the Diesel. Okay, that makes sense. The Close Shave for Duck's not on here, but we're moving in a step in the right direction. I gotta give it points where it's valid here. But you do have some good episodes on this release. I gotta say, I don't disagree with a vast majority of the episodes that are on this disc. Escape, I think, should be on here, and maybe a couple of the Duke episodes should be on here. But hey, the fact that Gallant Old Engine is on here, that's a plus, big plus. Ghost Train's a pretty good one too. Thomas Comes to Breakfast, one of my most nostalgic stories ever. That one's pretty good. I'll say this though, there are a couple of screenshots on the back of this, now that I'm looking at it. The episodes that are screenshotted here aren't on this release. You got a screenshot from Double Teething Troubles, that's not on here. A screenshot from A Better View for Gordon, that's not on here. And then a screenshot of Rusty and Skarloey from one of the early episodes when, like, Skarloey came back to the railway after being mended. I think it was Home at Last this one's from. That's not on here either. You do have a screenshot from Trust Thomas, which is on this release, but 1 out of 4. Not a good strike record there, VCI. The episodes themselves, in terms of video quality, kind of a mix match here. There are some episodes on here that look really good, but there are others that look like they were ripped straight off of a VHS with no enhancement done to them. They don't look very good. I'd say it's about half and half. Half of these episodes look good, the other half look like, hey, I just hooked up my VCR to my 4K television and it looks like I'm running a 360p signal through this. And another negative about this release, why in the world does it need to have the opening credits and the end credits play before each episode? Every single episode has the beginning opening credits and then the ending credits. By the 4th or 5th episode while I was watching this, I was sick of it. I was over it. I'm done with the Thomas theme, okay? I've heard it. Let's move along here. I had the same problem with the early years. I don't know why these companies think that they need to put the intro and the outro on every single story on this release. That's something that the US got right. Put the intro at the beginning, credits at the end. That's how it works. So there's no name boards or transitions on here. It's just intro, episode, outro, intro, episode, outro, and it's like 16 stuff. And it's like 16 times here. It's crazy. However, though, I gotta say, I was impressed with the story selection on this release, and some of the episodes that have really good quality to them, in terms of picture, I was impressed by. Yes, it's annoying to continually listen to the intro and outro, but you can skip that or mute it. And yes, it's annoying that the first 2 episodes of an arc are on here and not the final one. Yeah, that makes sense. Percy Runs Away is on here. That's the last story in an arc. The first 2 aren't on here. That's a pet peeve. But I can't help but really enjoy this release. I don't know what it is about it. I think it's just, this might be one of the best of compilations of Thomas and Friends I've ever seen. The best ofs here in the United States, they are nostalgic for me. But when you look at those episodes, would you really say, yeah, those are the best of that character? Or the best of the entire series? I mean, these episodes on here are pretty decent for a best of compilation. For a straight repackage of stories, I should say. For stories you already own, more than likely. And this was my first time hearing Michael and Jealous narrate stories like Cranky Bugs, Rusty and the Boulder, Paints, Pots, and Queens. I never heard this guy's narration back when he was good. Or at least some fans would say back when he was good. Obviously, I'm a United States kid. I grew up with George Carlin, primarily, some Ringo Starr. But I'd never heard Michael Angelis, and man, the guy was really good. I gotta say, he was really good back in the day. I see why all of you United Kingdom folks really enjoy his narration. He's good. I enjoyed him. Do I prefer George Carlin? Yes. But hey, it's nice to know that these versions are out there. So I gotta say, I gotta give a very high recommend to the very best of Thomas and Friends. I had a good time watching this, and I think that this is a good compilation that is well worth your money. Yeah, definitely. I recommend it. Number 4, where should you pick this product up? Same answers as number 1. And number 5, what price should you pay? This is interesting, because I don't know if I can answer this, because of, like, conversion rates and stuff with the UK. I'd say, though, if you're in the United States and you're looking for this, I'd say no more than around 10 to 15 for it. Maybe a little bit more than 15, 20 with, conversion rates and shipping and stuff. But maybe no more than, you know what, I'll bump it. How about no more than 20? That's about what this is worth. So, guys, that is it. That is the first episode of the Thomas and Friends Home Media Reviews Revival season. I gotta say, watching the very best of Thomas and Friends and hearing Michael and Jealous narrate stories like Cranky Bugs, it was like watching the series for the first time. It was crazy to me that I'd never actually heard this guy's narration back in the early days of Thomas, back when most fans really liked his narration. Amazing to me that I get to experience these stories for basically a second time. Next week, we are moving right along in the release timeline. This next release that we're going to be covering came out after The Very Best of Thomas and Friends. It was the next release after this. It's called Brave Little Engines. I don't know a lot about this release. I don't know what stories are on it. I haven't done any research on it at the time of recording this video, but I'm excited to get back to you next week with a review of Brave Little Engines. With all that being said, thank you guys so very much for watching. Good night, everybody.